What's up, everybody? How are you doing out there? I'm Don. This is Thinking Theology. Welcome to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, think about hitting that button so we could grow this channel. Just get more conversation, grow the community. In any case, today I'm doing what I think should be a simple one, but it's been a problem over the millennia. Is God in control? And the answer to that, in my estimation, by all evidence everywhere, is no. Including the biblical text and such, which are pretty direct in saying that, like, life is up to us. But when we take a look around us and we see all the horrendous things going on in the world, and then we posit that God is love and that he wants us to be kind, and that in the Ten Commandments, murder is wrong, and then we see all these horrible things going on, all of those things happening, and then we say, well, God's doing that, and then the big reason is given, we can't understand it, it's his divine plan. Here's the problem, the logical problem with that. If you're going to say you can't understand it, then you can't come out and say, here's what's going on. You could say, here's what might be going on, here's what I think is going on, but to assert, well, we don't know. God's beyond our understanding, but he's making all this happen. It's like, well, if we're going to base things on reason, observation, human thought, and even the Bible, which many people do, and we're going to look at some of those texts, not many, you don't need many, but to see, is God pulling the puppet strings on every event that happens here? Because you got to stop and ask yourself, which most people have, but then they just skirt it. They don't go that far. What does it mean? If God's doing this, I know people have lost children, their children. Everybody's suffered. All of us suffer eventually because we die. If God's in control of all of that, that really doesn't comport with what we're asserting or believing about him based on the biblical text, about him being love, about him being a God of kindness, of, was it Jeremiah 9:24? I think that he delights in loving kindness and justice and these things. It's like, that's not what's going on in the world, though. There's some of it, and sometimes it'll bring me to tears when I see somebody doing something kind for other people, but there's so many horrendous things that go on in this world. To think that God's doing that, like the people in North Korea who suffer the way they do under that regime, children growing up without food, whatever, you pick your things. It really doesn't bespeak that God's controlling things if he's the things we say, if he's caring and all that. So, would he have a right to expect kindness from us if he's causing plane crashes, hurricanes, and suffering? And the answer, in my estimation, absolutely not. But for those who base faith on the biblical text, let's just take a look at just two of them. That's all you need. And it just says right there, no, God's not pulling the strings on this stuff. And let's look in Genesis 1:28, right out of the chute in our common Bibles. It says, and God blessed them, we're talking about Adam and Eve, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. So right there, God says, here you go, guys. Here's the earth. Here's all this stuff. You've got dominion over this stuff. It's yours. I don't know where God went after that. It's a large universe. Maybe there's stuff way on the other side of it or in the middle of it. I don't know. There are a lot of questions I have, but that actually agrees with the results we see down here on planet Earth, or here on planet Earth, where we've got control over it. It's up to us to make good decisions, and collectively we've made horrible ones. But then as far as who's got control over what, let's look at Romans 1:24. This is for Christians, obviously, in the New Testament. Therefore, God gave them over in the sinful desires of their hearts to sexual impurity for the degrading of their bodies, and so on and so forth. So God gave them over. Go ahead, do what you want to do. See what happens. Go ahead. And that basically just agrees with what we see. We've all made bad decisions in this world, whatever they may be, and we live with the consequences. And that's true whether you're Christian, Jew, Muslim, atheist, Buddhist, Mormon, it doesn't matter what you are, what you say you are, what your beliefs are. We all deal with the same playing field where we're going to die, but we've got to make decisions along life's path that not only benefit ourselves, but benefit others. And some people make bad decisions for themselves. I have, you have, everybody does. But hopefully along life's path, we accumulate better ways of living so it works for ourselves and for other people. So those verses, I mean, you just ask yourself, does it sound like God's pulling the strings? And if not, then think, what might that mean? It's a different paradigm that we're in charge, so to speak. We're the ones who make the decisions that we live with. And so it's up to us to think better, to make better decisions. And when bad results happen or good results happen, we can be thankful that something good has happened. But when something bad happens, generally speaking, it's a person's fault. It wasn't that God was grand puppeteering these things up there, which is just another way of saying we have the responsibility of making good decisions for our own lives. So is God in control? I see this much evidence of it. 0. If that's revealed differently at some point in this life, the next life, judgment day, whatever that might look like, then that's fine. I'm open to those ideas, but I can only go on what I see and what I think, which is why the channel is called Thinking Theology. So that's the scoop. Leave your comments, subscribe if you haven't, guys, and we'll go from there. Have a great day. See you on another video and keep thinking theology.